All right, all right. Hello, all you sports fans out there in podcast land, and welcome once again to another edition of Babbling Brooks, your new favorite podcast, where I, your host Brooks, try to bring you some of today's sports news with just a little twist of my point of view. Hope you're all having a terrific Thursday. Here to talk once again about another Braves shutout victory, taking down the Yankees for the sweep last night. The final was 2-0. So not too exciting there, but it was definitely exciting watching Charlie Morton dealing like it was nobody's business. Like slinging those curves like he's on the corner. Tying his season high with 10 strikeouts against apparently his favorite team from his childhood. Grew up as a Yankees fan. Maybe just a little extra amped going up against the Yankees. And the Yankees below 500 for the first time since I was in elementary school. Which is wild to think it's been that long, at least this late in the season. I mean, yeah, they've been below 500 early in seasons, but usually at this point of the season, they're at least, mid or better. But we're not going to the mid or below. They could still go on a run and make the playoffs, but not looking great for the New York teams. The Braves ended up, what was it? I think we scored like 60 runs against the two New York teams in the last 7 games. Because I kept seeing the 58, but that was from yesterday. So I think it's like 60-13. We outscored the two New York teams over the course of 7 games. So nice little performance there for the Braves. And the Mets, of course, floundering. We beat them 3 out of 4 in New York. They will be coming to town relatively soon. And then, of course, the Yankees took care of them at our home base. Yankees hoping to go back home and get things going again. The Braves actually were out-hit by the Yankees in this one. The Yankees held the Braves to only 3 hits. Not like they had a lot more. I mean, we held them to 4. Charlie Morton held them to 4 over the course of his 6 innings. He's 12-10 now. Not only did he strike out 10, but he really got the control under control. Because remember last time we saw Charlie Morton, he had a career high in walks, 7. Somehow still managed to pitch a shutout, which is just crazy if you think about what he did last time out. Had 7 walks and still did not allow anyone to score. This game, that wasn't a problem. Like every time somebody got on base, it seemed like he kind of just cranked it up. Cranked that shit up like Soldier Boy, I guess he did. He had 10 after giving up an opening single to start the game. It's like, oh no, they got the. Anytime the other team gets the first guy on, like, oh no, here we go. Then nope, 10 straight outs after that. And then a couple guys got on, and then it just gets, then some more out. 2 outs in a row, gets out the inning. And just a really damn good job bringing his ERA down to 3.54. Back-to-back wins for old Uncle Chuck. And just looking really damn good, The rare both side pitching performance in this one. Randy Vasquez, a rookie, did a pretty good job. And, limited action for the Yanks in this one. He just pitched just over 3 innings, gave up the only 2 runs scored in this one. Walked 3, struck out 3, so not great. The kid still has a 2.42 ERA, so looked all right. And then King, man, he came in. What was his first name? Something with an M. Michael King came in, and he pitched, 3 2/3 innings to go to the 3 1/3 of Vasquez. And he only gave up a hit and a walk, so only allowed 2 base runners. I mean, overall, in this game, the Braves only had 7 guys on base the whole time. Like 7 base runners at all. One of them was Eddie. He went all the way around. That's pretty much the difference right there. The Braves just making their hits count a little bit more. But credit to the rookie, man. Vasquez could be a good one. King definitely showed some stuff. We seemed to have some trouble hitting either one of them, especially King. And he even got Ronald out on that damn pickoff. Ronald Acuna. Sometimes you don't like that he just totally stopped, but at that point, I mean, a rundown usually doesn't go wrong. I guess you could say you could try to do the rundown and hope, force the team into a mistake maybe. But at the same time, it was just one of those. He was just looked like a kid that was caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And as soon as King threw away, because he wasn't really trying to go, he was just trying to get a little bit of a lead, and then they were going to throw over there. And then King's like, I got some news for you, kid. I'm throwing over there. But regardless, you can't steal the base every time. So he still, Ronald will learn from that. Well, he could just tell he's like, damn it, busted. And talking about just being a very low scoring game. Despite only scoring 2 runs in this game, the Braves outscored the Yankees in the course of this 3-game shutout, 18-3. 18-3. That's after we scored 21 runs on the Mets the other day too. So we've been putting in some work on these New York teams. And kind of quiet this one, but hey, it's just cool to see that the Braves can win any kind of game. And it was great to see Charlie Morton just really have command of his curveball. And it just seemed like all his pitches were pretty much doing what he wanted them to. After the last couple times out, not been the case at all. And even though last time he got through it, somehow with a shutout, obviously control was an issue anytime you throw 7 walks. It's 28 balls just to those dudes. So, yeah, he looked a lot better. Only 1 walk to 10 strikeouts. The most strikeouts he's had in a game since, was it May? It's been a while. And, that's a nice double-digit number there, Charlie Morton. And right about the time of year you love to see it. Playoffs be coming pretty soon. We got 2. Like they say with the playoff series, like the way it's set up, you really need, sometimes you can get those 3 starters be enough. Like that's the 3 solid, dependable starters. And now Charlie looking more like what we've seen from the past, and kind of figured this would happen with him. He's the type of player, even when he struggles, you trust that he'll work through it. Because like I said, how many pitchers can pitch a shutout on 7 walks? That's like a bad day for him, and still helps us get a shutout win last time out. But to see him really pitching at his best, very encouraging. You got Max Fried returning to form after coming off the injured list. You got Spencer Strider just striking dudes out like it ain't nobody's business. And now you got old reliable Uncle Chuck. Just full command of his pitches, really locking down anytime anybody gets on base. Just looking really damn good. And then, of course, Bryce Elder also, nice bounce back after some struggles. It's just good to see the whole rotation after that rough turn and a half through. Like the last 7 games, looking pretty damn good for this Bravos team. Talk about how we did win this one. Of course, Charlie Morton, a big part of that. But you can't win if you don't put nothing on the board. So Eddie Rosario making them hits count after Marcel Ozuna got on base in the second with a double. And that extends Marcel Ozuna's hitting streak to 14 games. Second time he's had that many games in a row hitting streak this season. And Ozuna's not really the kind of guy that strikes you as a hitting streak type of player. Especially as a DH, mostly known as a power hitter this time in his career. But to see him consistently getting on base after kind of a slight downturn in July. It wasn't as bad as his April, but it wasn't a great July. But he is back. He's like, man, I ain't trying to lose no at-bats to nobody. Try to earn all that guaranteed cash. Eddie Rosario comes up right after Ozuna, extends the hitting streak, and knocks one out the park. Both of them are 1 of 2 in this game. And the Braves are up 2-0. So making those hits count. And that, not a lot. I kept hoping they'd get some more, but they never did. But it ended up being enough in the end because Charlie Morton didn't allow any runs. Only gave up 4 hits, 1 walk. And then you had the bullpen come in and finish the damn job. Pierce Johnson still has not allowed a run as a Brave. in his time as an Atlanta Brave, he's pitched 10 and 1/3 innings. He has 13 strikeouts, giving up 7 hits, and 0 runs. I already said that, but I had to say it for effect. I will say this again, to quote James Harden, right? Let me say that again. Pierce Johnson has not given up any runs as a Brave. Just 8 strikeouts in the last 2 weeks and 6 innings pitched. Those are the numbers you like to see. And Kirby Yates is looking really damn good lately. Perfect 8th inning, 1 strikeout in the last 2 weeks. 6 innings pitched for Kirby Yates. 6 strikeouts, 0. Let me say that again. 0 earned runs. And then, of course, coming in the 9th inning, he was our hero, baby. Once again, Raisel Iglesias, save number 23 on the season. 10th straight scoreless appearance. Striking out Aaron Judge and getting 2 ground outs. Perfect 9th inning. Mission accomplished. Go Bravos. The only bad thing coming out of this series is just like no hits hardly in this game. The only Braves, of course, you got, we talk about Eddie and Marcel, both 1 and 2. Both walked once, though, so give them credit for that. Austin Riley, the only other Brave with a base hit in this game. He was 1 of 2 with 1 walk. Struck out once. And the only other base runner for the Braves was Ronald Acuna, who also walked, struck out once. He was 0 of 3. I already talked about him getting caught stealing in the pickoff attempt by King, and that was the 10th time Ronald is caught stealing on the season. But hey, compared 10 to 55 stolen bases, that's a pretty damn good percentage, eh? Yeah. So he's still all right. He's still doing okay. And everybody else on the Braves not having a great game. Nobody getting anything done offensively. Michael Harris, the second, still hitting second in the lineup, 0 of 4 with 2 strikeouts in this one. I think the Yankees, man, the pitching staff was just on. After the Yankees themselves getting like 1 hit the night before, and this case, they're like, man, and then getting kind of their ass kicked the night before that, they at least, the pitchers gave them a chance. Like, they, 2 guys pitching 3 innings, and then the third guy. So give them credit for not having to use their bullpen against the Braves. I'm sure they liked that part. And Braves just couldn't get it done, but they did enough. Like you said, it felt like they needed more because 2 runs in today's game just never feels like enough. So I was like, man, just get like 1 more. Maybe just break this shit open. But if we broke it open, Raisel Iglesias got a save. We got to get him those save opportunities, y'all. Make up for missing all that time beginning of the season. Anything other highlights from this one? Travis got the start at catcher. He is 0 of 3, struck out once. Orlando 0 of 3. No strikeouts, though. Matt Olson 0 of 3. He actually struck out in this one. No strikeouts for Ozuna or Rosario, so good for them. Nicky Lopez 0 for 3, 2 of those strikeouts. So I was wrong. He didn't get the start. Thought, maybe they'd send Vaughn Grissom out there, but not to be in this one. We'll see if Vaughn Grissom gets some action going forward. I feel like you at least want to have him start 1 game while he's up, maybe in this upcoming series against the Mets, just to give him a chance to get out there and get some Major League at-bats. Hadn't hit in a Major League game since, May? And he didn't really play very much when he came up that last time when Arcia was hurt. But you got to love what he's been doing down there at Gwinnett, especially with the bat. Still learning on the infield. Second base, a position he's got a little more comfort with, having played it last year in the place of Ozzie Albies. But still, I think they worry about him being a potential defensive liability in a game. So maybe like somebody you can have him start a game and then have Nicky Lopez come in to kind of replace him. Of course, they do have Luke Williams as an extra guy, even though he's listed as an outfielder, has a lot of experience in the infield. I think that's one reason they sent Forrest Wall back to Gwinnett, maybe to give him some more at bats because he's just been kind of sitting on the bench for a couple months now. A couple stolen bases in his debut when he came on as a pinch runner. But other than that, not a lot because Eddie is playing too good to really take out the lineup consistently. And then you have Kevin Pillar right there to take his place. So you don't really need a 5th outfielder necessarily. And you have one in Luke Williams. He can play outfield if he needs to. But you just don't see that being the case. I'm still curious to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Vaughn Grissom get some. Maybe you don't want to throw him out there in a game, but start maybe getting him some work occasionally in left field. Because whereas Eddie Rosario is not quite as long term, obviously he's Michael Harris II or Ronald Acuna Jr. in center and right field. But that left field spot, maybe find somewhere for Vaughn Grissom. Not saying like an everyday guy, but maybe some part of a rotation there, and to get him also maybe some at DH eventually. We'll see. Not this year because Marcel, man, not going to end that 13-game hitting streak by taking him out. And even when he's not been hitting good, like Snicker just keep pretty much keep him in the lineup. Remember early on in the year, there were times where it seemed like we might go with the catcher playing more at the DH position when whoever was off. And I think a lot of that too is probably just kind of go ahead and letting them have their days off. On top of the fact that Marcel Ozuna is doing a pretty damn good job, but also I feel like that keeps both catchers like extra healthy, extra rested up, and I would not be surprised to see Travis d'Arnaud get a few more at bats as a DH as you get near the end of the season, because you've been saving them up, and especially maybe in a playoff game, there could be a time you have him pinch hit for Marcel. But like I said, Marcel's been hitting the damn ball good, but just it's nice to have options because everybody has days off. Everybody has off days. Those are two different things, really. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's great every day in baseball. It's a sport where it's like, I can't remember who it was talking about. It was John Smoltz or someone somewhere else. But it's a sport about who fails the least. Like, because everybody fails in baseball. The best players right now are hitting 30-some%. All time, nobody has hit over 40% for a whole season as a batter since the fucking 50s. Ted Williams. Like nobody. Tony Gwynn might have done it in 94 if it ain't been for the strike. Earlier in the year, it looked like Luis Arraez might do it. He's kind of came down a little bit, but he's still leading the league in average. Actually, I'm trying to bring that up on my phone right now. Yeah, he's hitting 361, so ain't no slouch. Ain't no scrub in the eyes of TLC. He's still ahead of us. Ronald right now is third in baseball when it comes to batting average. So the top four is all in the National League. All top four. You got Luis Arraez at 361. Freddie Freeman, of course, the former Brave at 337. Barely ahead of Ronald Acuna. .02 or .002 ahead of Ronald Acuna at 335. And then Cody Bellinger, former teammate of Freddie there from last year at the Cubs, 327. Running out the top five, Yandy Diaz, 322. And then, of course, Bo Bichette, who is in a rehab assignment for the Blue Jays, son of Dante, star of the Rockies back in the day. He's hitting there right behind Yandy from the Rays. And then, of course, Shohei. How about that? Probably that could be the best pitcher in baseball, and he's also hitting 306. Like, it's just crazy. It makes you want to see what the pitcher stats are, too. Just to see, compare for Shohei. Well, he's not the top ERA guy anymore. So, but he's still, he's number 9. So the top 10 in batting average and top 10 in ERA, still pretty damn impressive. And let's see, average, and of course with home runs, right now Matt Olson, quiet for a couple of games, we got 43 on the season. Still one more than Shohei, who's got 42. Pete Alonso, the only good thing for the Mets right now, has got 36 homers. That's third in the league. And kind of surprising, Luis Robert Jr., fourth in Major League Baseball with 32 homers. Then you got Mookie Betts, fifth with 31. And rounding out the 30-homer club for now, former Brave world champion Jorge Soler, now with the Marlins, 30 homers. Kyle Schwarber with the fucking Phillies, 30 homers. Adonis Garcia, second to Matt Olson in the league in RBI, 30 homers with Texas. And then right there, number 29, ninth in baseball, Austin Riley still. I think Austin Riley will be joining the 30 homer club very soon, the way he's been hitting the homers lately. Obviously not today, it's because we ain't playing. Day off for the Braves. But look out, Giants. About to get Austin. About to get Austin 316 your ass. And then Ozzy, if he can come back, relatively soon, which hopefully he will, he's got 28 homers, not too far away from that 30 homer club, 10th in baseball right now in home runs. Little old Ozzy Albies, and then Ronald Acuna Jr., his best friend and teammate, one homer behind him. He's got 27. Marcel Ozuna's got 24. These dudes are ready. Like, they hit some damn homers. Well, actually, Garcia got passed by Kyle Tucker for second place in the RBIs. He's got 92. Garcia's only got 91. But they both way behind Mr. Matt Olson, 107 RBI, 278 total bases. That has him second in the league to only Shohei Ohtani, who has 297 total bases. Because he's hit 5 more triples than Olson. That's what does that. Olson's only had 2 triples. Who would have thought that Shohei Ohtani, that's another thing. He's second in the league in home runs and tied for first in the league in triples. He's got 7. Tied with Marte, Cronenworth, and Bobby Witt Jr. Who would have thought? Who's got the most doubles? Freddie Freeman leads the league in doubles by a lot. 44. Ronald's the best Brave at 29. So that's like the farthest down the Braves are in probably any significant category. Because normally there's at least one Brave, like in the top 5. Either you got Ronald or Matt seem to be in the top 5 of almost every offensive category. Hits, Ronald is second to only Luis Arraez, of course. He got 161 hits. Arraez got 164. Freddie Freeman got 160. Next up is the injured Bo Bichette at 144. So just so much fun to see what these guys are able to do. And let's look at the standings. Kind of be a quick episode today, probably. Not a lot really going on. Braves, kind of a quiet game off today. Let's actually look at the other wins. Of course, the Tigers getting the win over the Twins. Mets actually beating the Pirates. Come on. Pirates win one for us. Diamondbacks beating the Rockies at home. The Giants, who will be coming to Atlanta to face the Braves starting tomorrow for a 3-game series, got beat by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays 6-1. Guardians going down to the Reds 7-2. Marlins 12-5 going down to the Astros. Said that backwards. Actually, probably said Astros winning 12-5, but whatever. Athletics shutting out the Cardinals 8-0. There you go. Not even doing it for the home fan. Doing it in St. Louis. Surprising there. The Nationals, they're irrelevant. Sorry, they just don't matter. Like the one team in the National League East I'm not rooting against that's not the Braves. Because I'm like, who cares? They're 20-some games back. 6-2 over the Red Sox. The Blue Jays, man, I was hoping they'd beat the Phillies for us. When I saw it was 4-2. It was tied 2-2. And then the Blue Jays went out 4-2. But then apparently the Phillies scored 7 straight runs, and they won that one 9-4. Come on, Jays, help us out. Not like they're really going to catch us at this point, but still. Angels beating the Rangers 2-0. Ohtani getting a home run in that one in the first. 437 feet. He was 3 of 4. Getting some time off from pitching. I said he was going to skip his next start. But he's going to stay in the lineup, so it wouldn't be wouldn't be too worried about it. I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about if you're an Angels fan. But I guess the thing to be worried about is if you're an Angels fan is what happens after the season when Shohei leaves you. If anything, you want him to slow down a little bit because then maybe he can't. Maybe someone offers him less money, but he's about to get paid. The Shohei, the only thing I'm really hoping for, I was like, if he came to Atlanta, that would be like, oh my God, yes, gotta have him, because. I think Charlie Morton's, probably, I wouldn't be surprised this is his last season. Just at his age, he's not, you can tell he's not quite the same pitcher. Still's got it in him to have some, we just saw an incredible game. But, maybe have Shohei go in there. He could potentially replace Charlie Morton and Marcel Ozuna. Imagine this Braves lineup with him at DH, and then you have him as a pitching option too. The only real question with Shohei is how long term can he do double duty? I just don't see it happening long term. Just because like that just seems to me like if he does it for say more than 5 years, it can start affecting significantly the length of his career. So but he's already surprised me and done things that nobody's done since Babe Ruth. So maybe he'll keep doing that. Like it's not like he has plenty of money, and especially going to have plenty more. Do like LeBron, put like $1 million into his body every year. But something to keep an eye on. Like maybe 10 years I think is the max for doing double duty. Like, and that would be like, especially in today's game, super impressive. I mean, it's already super impressive what he's already done. He can never pitch again or never hit again, and it would still be an incredible run. But I think he's got 3 to 5 at least more years of it from what we've seen. But even then, like you see how he's got to skip some starts time to time. So it's not like full-time pitching necessarily. But I mean, a lot of just guys that just pitch skip starts or get their starts pushed back. So it's not like it's just a him thing. That shit happens. It happens a lot. So the Angels beating the Rangers. White Sox going down to Cubs in the Battle of Chicago at Wrigley Field 4-3. Mariners getting the win over the Royals 6-5. See if Julio did something in this one. RBI single, nothing too fancy, doing what they needed to do. A couple of RBI singles actually. Good job, Julio. He's probably one of my favorite non-Braves hitters to watch. Maybe it's because he wears that number 44. Maybe I would assume you would have to think in some way. Anybody wearing 44 has to at least have Hank Aaron in mind, even if you ain't a Brave. I mean, he's not like he's exclusively known to Braves fans. I mean, he's our favorite. He's the best Brave of all time. But everybody in the game, if you actually care about baseball, you got respect and admiration for Henry Hank Aaron, home run king. Let's see, Padres getting the win over the Orioles. There you go, Padres. Not seeing that a lot. Tatis driving in a run and stole. I did hear about this. Fernando Tatis Jr. stole home base in the 7th inning, giving them some cushion. He was 3 of 4. Oh, damn, Manny Machado 0 of 4, and they still get the win. That's the thing. The Padres have just really been a surprise to me. Them and the Mariners both, especially the kind of money the Padres spent, going out getting Juan Soto to add to Fernando Tatis Jr. Already had Manny Machado. Like, they got some damn talent on this team. And maybe Tatis just needs a full season to really get going after missing a lot of time this year due to suspension. Dodgers taking down the Brewers 7-1. Trying to not let us get too far away and not to run away with the best record in the National League. Because Braves still have not just the best record in the National League, but the best damn record in baseball overall at 78-42. Next up is the Baltimore Orioles. Despite a win, they're still second. They've lost 2 in a row, split their last 10 games, but they're 74-47. Still 2 games up on the Rays, who have won 6 of their last 10. And then there is the Dodgers, who they got the same amount of wins as the Jays, but they got 4 less. The Rays, they got 4 less losses than the Rays, so they take the 3rd best record in baseball, the 2nd best record in the National League at 73-46. And they have won 10 games in a row now with their win last night. So they are smoking. Hopefully somebody cool their ass off soon. But yeah, Dodgers on a tear, man. 10-0 the last 10 games. 40 wins at home. One of only like 5 teams with that many wins, at home. So Braves, same home record as the Braves. Braves a little better on the road than the Dodgers are, though. Dodgers got 10 games up on the Giants, who, of course, coming to Atlanta on the heels of losing 7 of their last 10 games. Just crazy the way, because the NL East has pretty much been the same since, a couple weeks into the season, like the standings. Yeah, the Marlins have shuffled with the Phillies a little bit, and the Mets just went down and down. But like the way the National League West has switched up, I mean, the Diamondbacks not too long ago were first place. Dodgers were third. Now the Dodgers are first. And they're not just first by a little bit. They're 10 games up on the Giants. They're 13 games up on Arizona. 16 games up on the Padres, who spent a lot of money. 28 games up on the Rockies. But, they're like the Nationals. They don't matter. At least the Padres and the Diamondbacks have finally have 2-game winning streaks. Padres have lost 7 of the last 10. Diamondbacks have lost 6 of the last 10. Playoff percentages in the 20s. Whereas the Dodgers are right there with the Braves. 99.9%. The best 2 teams when it comes to playoff percentage. Because even the Orioles, good as they are, 98.2%. Tampa Bay Rays, way they started really hot, but they're second place, only 96%. Those are the top percentages right now. 20%, percentage points better than the Brewers. The Brewers, though, they're in a battle with the Cubs. They're only 2.5 games ahead of the Cubs. Both teams have won 6 of the last 10, but the Brewers are on a 2-game losing streak. And not just the Cubs do they have to worry about. They got the Reds also 2.5 games back. Pirates and the Cardinals, both 11 games out. They're out of it. Pirates is disappointing because, number one, I think I just hate the Cardinals because of that inning they put on us in the 2019 playoffs that I was there for personally. So fuck them. But they have, they're not alone in last place at least anymore. And they're technically not like out of it. They could reach, they could catch the first place team, the Brewers in this division, but it's unlikely. 11 games in the last couple months of the season, like it's doable. I mean, you got to win a lot of games, and it has to coincide with the other team losing a lot of games, maybe even more. So that's tough to line those things up sometimes in baseball. But the Pirates, they were first place in this division. So, the Cardinals, it's been a disappointment all year. They've just sucked from the start. But the Pirates, maybe they were outperforming, especially, they did lose, like, the bright future of the team. And O'Neal Cruz still could come back, but I'm doubting it for this year. Because you're 11 games back. Do you really want to put the future of your franchise, like, on the line, potentially, like, could get some sort of serious injury in a meaningless game? Especially when it would feel like kind of rushing him back. Like, you don't want to rush a guy like that back anyway, but especially if you're out of contention. But they do have some bright spots. They put up some runs on the Braves, man. This Pirates team, and was it Cabrian Hayes? Like, I picked it up on my fantasy team after seeing what he did to us. Like, dude, they got some really talented young players. Especially next year, you get a full season out of was he like 6'5", that shortstop, O'Neal Cruz? Super talented kid, man, and definitely ain't less likely to hit it over his head than Ozzie Smith. And Ozzie Smith was incredible. He's no Ozzie Smith, but I'm just saying size-wise. And the Braves are 12.5 up on Phillies. They are on their own little winning streak now. That's 3 in a row. 8-2 in their last 10 games. Phillies have won 6 of the last 10, while the Mets and the Marlins have both split their last 10. The Marlins are 16 back, so falling further and out of contention from us. That was a really bad Alicia Keys improvisation. And then the Mets, 23.5. They're only a game ahead of the Washington Nationals, y'all. I did not even realize that. The Nationals catching up with the Mets. The Mets aren't just terrible. They're about to be in the dungeon of the National League East. That makes me want to root for the Nationals because they're not catching us at 24.5 back. They damn sure could catch them fucking Mets. Ha, ha, ha. Let's have a quick look around the American League, and I'm going to call it a day because I got other shit to do. Of course, talked about the Orioles and the Rays sitting on top of the East. Rays 2 games back. The Blue Jays hoping to get Bo Bichette back soon, 7.5 games out. Split their last 10 games. The Yankees, thanks to us, 14 games behind the Orioles. 60 and 61. Ha ha ha. They've lost 5 in a row. So it wasn't just us. Everybody kicking their ass. And they've lost 8. Kind of 8 of the last 10. And the Twins going down to the Tigers last night. Tigers trying to put themselves in the American League Central conversation. They are 8 games out of first place. But the way this division's been, they could very well catch them. Because this division has been not so great. The Twins, for a long chunk of the season, they'd be in first place, but they'd be behind last place in the American League East. Not the case anymore, but still, only 4 games over 500, 4.5 games over second place Cleveland. Both those teams on losing streaks. Out of the last 10 games in the American League Central, 3 teams, Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago, have split their last 10 games. The Royals, of course, sitting there at last place, lost 2 in a row, lost 7 of the last 10. And Cleveland, in second place, has lost 6 of the last 10. So in their last 6 games, that's the only division in baseball that have nobody with a winning record in the last 10 games. Nobody. The only division. So maybe the Tigers got a chance. They can put together a winning streak, even though as of now they have a 0.8% chance of going to the playoffs. But it's still, hey, you're saying there's a chance. I mean, they're 8 games out. It's like the one division I think you can make up 8 games. Because Minnesota, do you really trust them to finish off? Probably not. But maybe not. They're not great. And Texas, 2.5 games up on the Astros right now. One of the 2 divisions in baseball that has 2 teams over 70 wins. 72 for the Rangers, 70 for the Astros. Both have won 7 of the last 10, and so have the Seattle Mariners, matching the Astros with a 2-game winning streak, and they are only 6.5 behind the Rangers, 4 games behind the Astros. I still have hope, still have a little bit of faith that my Mariners, they're one of my American League teams. I root for the, I guess the White Sox, Mariners, and Tigers, and they're the ones by far with the best playoff chance. I mean, the White Sox have less than 0.1% chance, so they're not going to the playoffs. The Tigers, less than 1%, but still, decent, exponentially bigger than the White Sox chances. And the Mariners are sitting there 35.1 playoff percentage chance. Angels, they're down below 1 now, 0.9%. Lost 6 of the last 10, but they finally won a game. But it's probably all for naught at this point. Because this is like the one division you ain't gaining any ground. They're 12.5 games out of first place. 6 games behind the third place Mariners. And let's see the wild card standings. That's where a lot of these teams going to have a chance. Of course, Tampa and Houston both trying to not just win the wild card, but win their actual division. Them and the Toronto Blue Jays are the tops right now. The Mariners only 1 game out of that, and the Red Sox 3 games out. So those are the 5 main contenders for the wild card spot. The Yankees and the Angels and Cleveland ain't out of it, but they're getting close. The Yankees 6.5 behind Toronto. The Angels are 7 games behind them, and the Cleveland Guardians are 8.5. And Detroit, 12 games. You're not, probably, their chance is the Twins and the Guardians shit in the bed, and they go on a winning streak to win the division. That's their best chance, probably, in my opinion. And I'd like to see the Mariners replace the Astros, but that's going to be tough. They probably just have to join them, knock off Toronto. But I'd like to see Toronto and Seattle in the wild card. I mean, I'd like to see the Angels get there. I just don't see that happening. So I'll go with like Tampa, Toronto, Seattle for my picks. But Houston will probably replace one of those teams. Philadelphia and San Francisco locked in right now, looking like wild cards. And then Chicago, Miami, and Cincinnati are all tied right now for the final wild card spot. Well, the Diamondbacks, they fell out of the West contention, but they're still a game and a half out of that final wild card spot. The Padres, the same. They're 4.5 out. And the Mets, technically still in at 7.5 out. Then Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Washington are 8.5 games out. But pretty much out. Pretty much coming down to 2, 4, 6 teams, maybe 7 teams. I think the Padres are the last team with a true legitimate chance. I mean, yeah, the Mets or the Pirates or even Cardinals, but I just don't see that. I don't see, the Pirates would only be like if Cruz comes back. If they can get a little bit closer, and then you get O'Neal Cruz back in like a month, maybe they could. But there's already enough teams. I mean, we got a 3-way tie for the last spot. So hopefully Philadelphia and Miami fall out of contention. I'd prefer Giants and Reds and Padres. Cubs, Reds, and Padres. Sorry, but it'll probably be Phillies and Giants and Cubs would be my guess right now. Maybe the Marlins can improve, but the way they're falling, I think they'll keep falling. And the Reds, I'd like to see them get in there. Like Reds and Cubs, I got a soft spot for both those teams. But the Padres, I'd like to see them do it, but they got a lot of a lot of ground to gain. Getting that backwards. Check back on the ESPN homepage, see if I missed any sort of news. Do not think so. Not really. Just try to see what happens with crazy. Wander Franco starring there with the Rays. Another reason the Rays could fall. Looks like some people are saying he might never play in baseball again. Like in Dominican Republic, it's being investigated by a special division that looks into child-related stuff. So apparently they're saying he's been dating a 14-year-old, which is I thought maybe it was some sort of joke that got misunderstood because it was the first night he got he didn't play due to this. And they said at first it was their scheduled day off, but it was Wander Franco Kids Day. They were a day sponsored. They were giving some sort of Wander Franco merchandise to kids 14 and under. I'm how's the exact age? That's what is it because it was the same day, and I'm well, maybe it's just a joke gone wrong. But no, apparently there's some pictures of him with the girls claiming to be 14. So we still don't know the details, but it's damn, dude, so and if that happens, then he's gonna be done. But he's in his 20s. Either way, this it's just terrible. For especially for whoever the girls involved. And then it's just, what are you doing, you bonehead? And yeah, not looking good for Wander Franco, which could be not looking good for the Rays. He's locked in for 9 more years. He locked in a big contract extension, 70 years in his career. He's been at 281 and could have just ruined his career. He could have. I'm not saying them, I'm saying he, ruining his own career with his bad decisions, terrible decisions. And also, I did see another non-baseball note that the Tui family, the one that had Michael Oher in the conservatorship, that he apparently was unaware of, or at least unaware of the exacts of it and the exact terms. They're saying that he got everything he had coming to him money wise. They didn't take anything. They were so rich they didn't need his money. But definitely seems like they've used his name and his story to make a lot of money. And just the fact that the reason I side with him and I believe him is because I remember quietly him talking about when he was with the Panthers how he didn't like that movie. And everyone's oh, you don't like the movie? But I remember seeing the movie and I was it didn't seem, it kind of made him seem slow / retarded-ish or something. You know what I mean? Which he says he's not, obviously. He was obviously, not sure about a lot of stuff. Coming into, wasn't sure about financial stuff. So when this, rich white family who's, showing him what seems like true love, genuine love, and telling him he's, part of the family, and they're oh, sign this. This makes more. This is like adoption, but it makes more sense for you in your situation. But what it did is it gave them the right to negotiate, and make it to where he makes no money. So even if they didn't make money, which I think it looks like they did, even from the movie itself, and then later on, that was a big hit. I never saw it. I don't know. I think a lot of it too is I'm not big on these inspirational stories, especially sometimes that's just one that you could just see. It was there's another white savior movie. Just what we need. See the white people I will save you because I'm a rich white woman. But anyway, I think that'll be enough for today. Braves got the day off. Oh yeah, one last thing. We did have some good news. Jesse Chavez threw off a mound. still having trouble running. So, nothing looked very close to coming back, but at least, baby steps, like What About Bob? Baby steps. Classic movie. You ain't seen it, go see that shit. What About Bob with Bill Murray? Oh, that's a classic. I remember watching that VHS with my family back in the day. I feel like there were some parts that, they definitely didn't like. It was still a little risque in a couple parts when I was like in elementary school. But still, that was a great family fun movie. And the Braves, I said day off, and then the Giants, not of New York, but of San Francisco, will be in town, and the Braves scheduled starters as of now are Spencer Strider, the strikeout king. Not of all time, I'm going rhyme, but right now, of this team, of this league currently. Yanni Chiernos getting another shot, it looks like, on Saturday. Had to think about the days. And then Max Fried will close out the series against the Giants before the Mets come to town. So looking good. Giants a little scuttling right now. Gotta like this, Braves dominating the current New York teams. Let's see how we do against a former New York team. Maybe we can add this to those, the continued dominance of the Big Apple. Anything with a little apple resin even in it, we're gonna hit. We're gonna kick that shit. And then the Dodgers, man, that's going to be the big tough test. The Dodgers coming to town here eventually. Actually, let me see when they come to town. Giants, and then the Rockies, and then we go play the Dodgers, so they don't come to town just yet. After we play the Giants, we go out for 3 games in Colorado. So maybe the Braves going to put on a little bit of a home run derby. The Mile High City at Coors Field. Cold as the mountains. Boys in blue-ass mountains. Blow the ball out the damn park. And then to start out the month of September, be like 1 game to end August and then 3 games against the Dodgers. So that'll be the big test because the Dodgers hot as hell right now. Playing at home. There's Chavez Ravine. Like, we'll see. The Braves, that's going to be the real tough series coming up. Because you look, the Giants, they're a second-place team, but they ain't been playing like it lately. The Rockies, they're last place, and for the most part, they've been playing like it. And the Braves hitters love to hit. Might not be great for our ERA, because maybe the Rockies will give up some. But looks like the Rockies are giving up more even at home if they're losing like that. Having said all that, though, that sounds like a good place to call it. Of course, the Panthers taking on the Giants preseason action. But I just can't get too excited about preseason football, even when it's my team. Look, we lost 27-0 in the first one. I'm not trying to read too much into it. Matt Corral quarterbacked most of it. Bryce Young, he got hit a lot. He went down a lot, but you know what? He kept getting back up. And as of now, that's what fucking matters. And it's just preseason. Brand new offense. They're not going to show too much. So I'm going to watch what I can, but I'm not going to be like too up, too down about anything. As long as there's no major injuries, that's the main thing. This is all practice. This is all warm-up shit. But the Braves, that's my concern right now. Watching the Braves just keep doing their thing. And we're getting used to my new schedule, so we'll see how that affects doing the episodes. I'm still going to try to do bare minimum 3 episodes a week. I know I can do that. I know I can commit to 3 episodes a week because I'm off Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then I can do at least 1 episode at night, like after work or afternoon or something. I get off at 3 on Tuesday, so that's a good chance that'll be one of the days I do. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then probably the other day will just depend on what's going on. Like how I feel when I get off work. I work till 4 a couple days. I work till 5 a couple days. So I'll have some time, but it just be some adjustment because I got used to working at nights and I could just wake up, take my time, do an episode in the middle of the day and shit. Sometimes go back to sleep. Other times just start getting ready for work, whatever. But having working days, it'll be better for me in a lot of ways. Get back to more of like my normal sleep schedule. I'm a natural morning person. Not like super chipper right away, natural morning person. But like I wake up, I can wake up early easily. Like I'm the type that I've been setting alarms the last few months for my early shifts, and I usually wake up an hour before my alarm. The other day I set an alarm for 6. I woke up at 5, and then I didn't go to bed till 4:40 in the morning the next day. That was a rough one on Tuesday. I did a double for my final night shift. So that's over though. At least for now. I'm not saying I'll never do night shifts again, but not for now. Not for now. So hope y'all have a great day. Check back sometime the next couple days. I'll try to do an episode on Saturday, but I'm not gonna make any promises because I'll be in my first 2 dish shifts at another location, so I'm not sure how I'll feel. I'm gonna try to do it because I'll get off work at 4, which means I can get home by 5 at the latest. And Braves, I believe, don't play until 7 either day, because that's my main thing too. Some days I get done, and it'll be like the Braves, even a 7 o'clock game will be right afterwards. So Friday and Saturday are 7 o'clock games. Sunday's a 1 o'clock game. So we'll just have to play it by ear and see how shit goes. But definitely, sometime this weekend, you'll hear from me. I'm gonna shoot for doing a Saturday episode. Probably not tomorrow. But probably I'm going to shoot for trying to give y'all a little talking to on Saturday. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Hopefully you'll come back and listen. Follow me, subscribe, whatever it is on Spotify. Check me out as well on the YouTube, Babbling Brooks, and Babbling Brooks 84 on Instagram. I'm actually going to try to start posting on Instagram. I hate social media, so it's kind of tough for me to really do social media sometimes. Not a fan. But it has its benefits, so I need to learn how to use those benefits to my advantage and yours, because you want to listen to more Babbling Brooks all the time, and find a way for me to get paid to do this shit. That's on y'all, guys. Somebody pay me. Peace out.